Hello everyone! So today I want to talk about self-evaluation, self-critique, and how to value your art. Positive feedback about your art is fantastic. Constructive criticism is great. But without those, would you have a good sense of where your art stands? I think before we are even open to constructive criticism, we need to be good at criticizing ourselves. And I'm not talking about bashing your art and being down on yourself. I'm talking about honest self-evaluation. Self-critique is where we get a sense of self-worth for our art and ourselves. Not practicing this enough in our lives, and especially with our art, tends to create two different extremes. Those who have no sense of value or a low sense of value for their art, and those who have an unrealistically high sense of their art's value. First, I'll tackle the no sense of value or a low sense of value. A lot of artists fall into this bad habit out of humility. They don't want to brag about their art and puff themselves up, so they bash it and ask others to say positive things about it. We don't want the responsibility of saying, "My art is good and I think it has value," so we try to get others to say this by talking our art down. For anyone looking to sell their art, this is not a healthy or helpful way to be. If you depend on others' opinions to place value on your art, then they will sense that you aren't confident and won't value your art any more than you do. So not only will you have trouble selling your art, you will also feel like you are never good enough. On the other end, there's having too high an opinion of your art. Many artists are told that they have to sell their art with their words and have a tale to tell about every piece so that the customer will feel that they are buying something important. Now, this is a good tactic to sell art, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. But with it comes the danger of letting those words you use to sell your art go to your head. That leads to a skewed sense of the value of the pieces that you create. You stop listening to outside opinions and helpful criticism. Your quality of work often suffers because to you, every piece you create is amazing and there are no flaws in it. You also run the risk of chasing off people who just want to help because you don't listen to them or value their opinion. So what is the happy medium? How do you have an accurate sense of value for your work? There are two important parts to this. Firstly, you have to train yourself to see the flaws and virtues of the pieces you create. And secondly, you have to be proud of the skills you've worked so hard for and convey this to others. First, let's take a piece you hate. You may think it's just a failure and there's nothing that you like about it and you want to chuck it out and start on something else. Okay, well, maybe it isn't your best work, but take a more in-depth look at it. Why don't you like it? Are the colors wrong? Is it not what you envisioned in your mind? Are the proportions off? Did you make some mistakes with the inking? Really critically look at the piece. Analyze it and figure out what you don't like. There may be multiple things, but knowing exactly what and why is important. You know what to improve for next time. You are training yourself to see things and catch mistakes before they happen. Now you have looked at the negatives, you should be able to find some positives. No piece is 100% all bad and a complete failure. The fact that you are creating art and practicing is a positive in and of itself. You want to find a number of things that you do like about the piece so that you know what to take and use in another piece. Also do this with works you love. I don't want you to grow to hate a piece by nitpicking and hating on it. You can still love a piece and realize it has flaws. I believe this is just as helpful as looking at pieces you dislike. If you can critique yourself without losing passion for creating, then you will become stronger as an artist and you will be more open to constructive criticism. Alright, so now that we've talked about analyzing your art, let's talk about value. There are two different types of value in art if you plan on selling it. One is the market value, what it will sell for, and the other is its worth to you and your customer. Market value is dependent upon where you sell it and your skill level compared to your competition. This should never discourage you from putting your art out there. You may live in an area that has many professional artists that have been doing this for much longer and have a higher skill level, but that doesn't mean you can't be in the same market as them. Now, I can't tell you what to charge for your art. That's dependent on many different factors. But if you end up selling your art for less than your competition, that doesn't mean you are less of an artist. The other value is its worth to you and your customer. You should already have a sense of value for your art if you are honest with your self-critique. You know how long you've been working at developing skill and how many hours you have spent training yourself and honing your craft. You have a passion for your art and care about the pieces you make. This will carry over to your customer. They will be able to tell that you really care about your art by the way you talk. You don't have to have a sales pitch for people to know this, though a sales pitch isn't always a bad thing. The customer will value the piece if you value it. If you don't even like the art you make, then why should they like it? But if you feel like a piece is your baby, then they will feel it too and cherish that art. Its value to them will be higher. Not to say you can charge them more for it. It's a different kind of value. But they will have more of an emotional attachment to the piece and be more likely to purchase it in the first place. Now I'm speaking from my own experiences selling art, but the same goes for getting a job in the art field, probably even more so, since the company is hiring you and your skills. You have to have confidence in your abilities so that the company hiring will say, yes, this is the person for us. They know themselves, they have a good sense of where they stand, and they are willing and passionate about learning. I have a high regard for self-evaluation because I relied heavily on my own judgment for the majority of my art development. I'm a self-taught artist, and until I joined a gallery, I was never around any other artists to give me constructive criticism and tips on how to improve. I studied artists that I admired and learned what I liked and didn't like from trial and error. I have worked for many years and many hours a day to train myself and develop skills, and I'm very proud of the work that I've done. Not saying that I don't need to improve. Everyone has room for improvement. So in summary, you should be able to step back and analyze your art honestly and be able to find positives and negatives. You should also be able to appreciate and take pride in your skills and the work you've put into developing those skills. Be able to say nice things about your art and also admit that you have room to grow. Hopefully this video helped you. If you find that you fall on one side or the other of the happy medium, don't worry. Everyone struggles with one or the other. With a little bit of self-evaluation, you'll get to where you need to be. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. You can check out my Facebook and Instagram accounts for daily art posts and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these arty videos. Hope you all have a great day. Bye.